What is up, Dark Zero fans? I am Get Flanked. Joining me is Mint, and we're gonna go one-on-one today. We're gonna talk about a lot of things that are current topics within the Siege community, as far as upcoming Pro League matches, some meta changes, and also what it's like to be a pro player. So, little bit of a different discussion than what you might be used to today, but I'm happy to sit down here with Mint, one of the OG pro league players, and somebody who's certainly been in the scene for a long time and knows the ins and outs. How you doing today, Mint?
I'm doing well, Flank. Thanks for having me. Love chatting about Siege and everything about it.
Yeah, it's always a good time, man. And I've been really looking forward to this because I think there's a lot going on right now. Obviously, at the time of recording this, you guys are playing Sonics, your first pro league match, tomorrow, and
hmm
uh, it's been a long break, as far as since the invitational or since pro league ended. So what's prep like right now? Like, what's the feeling in the house?
Long break would be like that's not even like words to say how long it's been. Like we are all so giddy and cannot wait to play pro league match. So I mean, everything that goes into it, the prep work, uh, practices, everything like that. It's great. Um, but yeah, we cannot wait to play. So it's yeah, we have Sonics coming up. Prep work, everything has just been pretty much the same Dark Zero way, which we've kind of talked about. I don't know if anyone's seen some of the other content we put out, but we are still hard at work grinding and refining our schedule. One of the things we actually did more recently was like actually compacting our schedule and like confining it. It's less long hours and more content in those hours instead, which has been actually huge for us as a team. Opens up many hours for things we can do together as a team. Just think that's kind of helped us gel a little bit better. Kind of less burning out feeling as well. But yeah, just trying out all the new things that have been coming into the game. A lot of big changes since the last time we played Pro League. Trying to figure out what works for us and what doesn't work for us, and trying to figure out our own meta. Obviously, there hasn't been any matches being played, so there's really nothing too much to have seen what other teams are doing, other than scrims. So, just trying to kind of figure out our way.
Well, you mentioned a lot of big changes as far as Pro League, and that's something I wanted to talk about because since the last time Pro League was played, I mean, you've got the Ying buff.
hmm
She's much stronger than she used to be. The Amaru buff. You've got Yana and Orcs. What else? Mozzie loses Super Shorty. Castle
Yeah.
gains Super Shorty. Pretty much, I'm pretty sure that Pro League hasn't been played with any of those changes yet, at least to my knowledge. So, of everything I listed there, like, what do you see having the biggest impact this season?
Um, Let's be a couple big impacts. Let's see. Ying is insane right now. Uh, Ying is definitely insane. We'll see more bans on her. Is another option for some of those teams like E United that just kind of want to bully you through a doorway kind of thing. The Mozzie losing the super shorty is actually pretty huge. We actually make a joke now since you can't really bring Mozzie with the super shorty to make a lot of your rotates. You have to bring Castle a lot more. So we named him the weapon of mass construction. Um, Pretty much, he's just completely all about the prep phase now. So
That's
anyone that
good.
gets stuck on him, usually prep phase lasts a minute into the round. Um, so that's a big one. Amaru is actually huge. I think it's like teams are going to be experimenting with her, but I think she can be a little later into the season when she's really more refined and you can kind of see what she does. I think that's insane. Plus the G8. I mean, I know casual ranked, wherever the G8 is kind of that gun where like, okay, this isn't working. Let's just bring, two G8s
Yeah.
into the lineup. But yeah, I think the super shorty and then just some of the smaller buffs will definitely see some play. Yana, she's pretty good. She's not needed. Depends on the team. And then Oryx, I think is going to be that operator that maybe you're at a LAN event or maybe it's a big game. You're going to see some Oryx strat kind of busted out and going to be some like high adrenaline. Here comes a flank. Let's see what kind of happens.
You guys were, we're talking about the long break from the last Pro League, and obviously there was the whole like quarantine, thing between then and now. What was the house like during that time? Like, did you guys get on each other's nerves? I mean, you guys were, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys were like locked in the house for a long period of time, right?
Oh, we were. Yeah, we were. I mean, just like anywhere, eventually you get sick of your roommates. Like I love these guys, you know. We definitely go to battle with each other, but then late at night, we'll have a lot of board game nights. We have a lot of like hanging out together, but there's definitely times where it's too much. So we all have our space, and obviously no one fights or anything like that. But quarantine was something else, and then we'd have times where some of us would want to go out and some of us were like, oh, no, 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 like so you had to respect everyone's like
Right.
how they felt about the coronavirus. And everyone, someone might have like a weaker immune system than others, so it was all just kind of like trying to take care of each other and really sheltered in. But I think it kind of benefited our team. I hate to say that looking back, but I think we definitely benefited from it.
Putting you on the spot. Is there one person that
Hmm.
you like clash with in that like type of environment more than the other teammates, or is everybody pretty good?
Everyone's pretty good. I'd say I'd say Matt, but mainly because I've known him the longest. We've been teaming for 4 or 5 years now. He's almost like a little brother to me, and he just likes to troll. We just call it the Matt trolls. And eventually they get old, and you kind of have to put him in his place. But for the most part, we're good.
What's the age range on the team? Like, is everybody pretty
Oh
close, or is
yeah,
it
I'm the old man by far, being 27, and then you got Paul, who I think is 19, might have just turned 20.
okay?
Uh, Tyler is 21, Matt's 21, and Alex is 22. So
Okay,
they're all kind of grouped in that young range, and
right.
then I'm just that old man kind of guiding them with my wisdom.
Well, let me ask you a little bit about that. Not necessarily about your age. I mean, I think it kind of plays
Mhm.
into it because, um, I mean, you're 27. I'm 37. So for me in this space, like, I'm pretty old. Like, I don't really know any other content creators doing this in the siege scene that are as old as me. So it kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety because, like, like I'm old. I've got bills. I've got a family and stuff, and like content creation is pretty fickle. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely there's a lot out of my control. YouTube can change the algorithm, and the next thing you know, your channel dies. And
Mhm.
like I said, there's just a lot under my control, and that gives me a lot of anxiety because like I right now have my dream job. I want to do this for the rest of my life. I don't think that I'll probably do this for the rest of my life, but I wish that I could. So I don't want it to die. And it kind of makes me a little bit nervous. So, like, from your perspective, being a pro player, I'm sure that's a lot of players, a lot of people's dream job. Like, how do you look at that? Do you have that kind of same anxiety associated with the job at all?
I feel like you kind of have to, which is almost like a shame to say, but I think the best way to put it is, 8 teams in Pro League, so that's 40 jobs. So that means there's only 40 people that can be professionals, and in North America at least. So it's like with how many people play this game and how many people want to be pros, like there's always going to be someone younger, better, mechanics wise, gunning for your job. So you always have to be working on improving, whether it be, again, like mechanically or mentally within the game, just being a better Siege player overall. It could definitely be scary. And I definitely got into it at an older age. I think it was like 23 when I started. And I kind of just was like, play as long as long as humanly possible. And it's definitely in the beginning, it was a lot easier too because I ran my own team. So it's like I was the captain, I was making the decisions as far as that. But as we progress, now things are more professional. Now it's like anybody, whether you're having a bad season or not, pretty much anybody's on the chopping block at any time. Always just have to be on your A game.
Do you feel like your age has gotten to a point where it's a disadvantage? Like people talk about reaction times of young kids and stuff. Is it as night and day as people think it is?
I still think I'm one of the best players in the game,
I
and
agree. I
I
agree.
I don't think I what I think it is though. Doing a lot of like research kind of on it is like I think if I got into Pro League when I was like 18, like Paul, I mean, by the time I'm 27, if I played Pro League for 9 years, I'd be sick of it by like 23, 24.
Right.
So I understand why professionals maybe burn out at like 23, 24, and that's like the normal retirement age. But since I got in when I was like 23, 24, I mean, as long as I stay, up to date on aim training and mechanics, and again with how much I'm watching Siege and trying to pay attention to just stay sharp, my like mental side with in-game leading and things like that. I think anybody realistically could play into their 30s, like no problem. It's just a matter of like if you want to do it, family gets in the way, kind of thing like that.
Well, you mentioned family getting in the way. Like, I,
Hmm.
I was down there at the house and I saw your guys' work day, and you mentioned earlier in this that you guys have condensed your work schedule a little
Yeah.
bit. And I imagine, from what I saw, I mean, you guys were working literally, like, not even all, to say all day was an understatement. It was while you were awake, you were working. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was that's what I saw whenever I was down there. So, I mean, condensing your schedule, it makes sense to me. But, like, okay. So let's say I'm not speaking for you, but let's say that you're somebody who's getting into their 30s and you can still hang and you can still play in pro league. But yeah, I mean, you want to have a family or whatever. Is that a realistic possibility? And do you see a way that somebody can have a family and still be a pro player in Rainbow Six Siege? Like, how would that work?
I I actually want to say yes, just looking at the CS scene. I think we're getting there. I think it's progressing. Team houses make that a lot harder because obviously, if you have a wife and kids and you're spending your entire day at a team house with the boys, it's a lot harder.
Right.
But again, if you look at the CS scene and like things advance, like teams are in apartments, and then it's just treated like a normal job. You go to work, so be it noon to 7, and then you go home and it's just a normal day. And whether you want to put in your extra time or, whether or not you stay late at the office, just like a normal job, sometimes you would. Um, so I do think we're literally getting to that point where the like vision of to be a pro gamer, you have to play the entire day and that's all you can do. I think we're getting past that now, and it's like it's really important that you like balance your work as well as your personal side, um, to really prevent like burnout, so you can extend your duration of how long you're going to play this game, like career wise.
Why do you think that, like, people feel like they have to be working all day long? Is it part of the nature of being in a team house? Is it that people think, well, if I'm not working, then I'm not getting better? Like, what is it
Hmm.
about it that? Because I mean, imagine how strange it would be if you, like, a pro basketball player, if they were like, yeah, I once I get done with practice, I go down to the pickup court and I play 3-on-3s down at the local park until until night, and then I go to bed and do it all again the next day. Like, that would sound really strange to hear it from that profession. So why is it different in
Right.
gaming?
uh I just think there's that sort of mentality where like a lot of people have, which is not a bad thing. It's like if I'm not playing the game right now, somebody else is putting in the time and grinding harder than me, so they're going to come for my job, kind of thing. So it's always like if I'm not grinding right now, someone else is. Um, as well as like you mentioned with being in the team house, it's like it is actually very motivating being in a team house because your teammates are constantly like playing the game. Even when maybe you're not feeling it, and they're like, "Yo, come play with us," and then you always get suckered into playing a couple games and wanting to grind with them, and so that whole aspect is very motivating as well.
Yeah, I mean, has there ever been a part of you that's like wish that you would have gone a more traditional route? Like, I again, I have my dream job, but sometimes I look at, like, my wife is a teacher. She basically she works. She went to college to be a teacher. She worked hard, got good grades. She's a teacher. She does a great job in her profession. But if she works for 30 years, she gets a pension. Like, her road is laid out in front of her. She knows exactly what she needs to do to have really a really good quality of life for the rest of her life. Like, for us, like, I can't look at anybody who was a YouTuber for 30 years and then retired from it. Like, there are people who have retired from YouTubing, but they're people who, like, blew up to the point where they didn't have to work anymore. There's
Yep.
nobody like that I can look at like me who have been doing this for really even like 10 years. I mean, 10 years is a long time, but like anybody, like, there's nobody who's like me that's just been like earning a living by doing YouTube for 15 years. And I expect that's kind of the same for you. Like, there's really nobody you can look to, right? And say, this is
Mhm.
somebody who did this for, long enough to retire. Like, what's your thought process there? Does that give you some anxiety?
uh yeah, I don't know, it definitely does. You can't, like you said, you couldn't look at anybody. This is still esports, like as a scene is still so new, so you really have no idea. But I mean, I've been looking into esports ever since the very first time I saw Halo Championship when I was in like middle school, and I seen people playing video games and making money, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And I was like, no matter what, like I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna do that. So it's like even if the future is uncertain, it's like that competitive side of me is like, I want to do this. I want to win. I want to be the best. And then as I do get older, I'm already thinking about what I'm going to do next. But it is kind of one of those things where it's like I'll figure it out when the time comes. But like right now, I want to be the best and not have to worry about that. Hopefully, but
I remember talking with BC because like BC was one of the older players within the scene, and I remember talking to him a good even going back to the Paris major and him talking like, yeah, I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to do this, but I want to go as long as I
yeah,
can. But I mean, if you look at BC, there's never a time where he played where he didn't perform, in my opinion. So
hmm
like, I do you agree? Like he could still be playing right now and not be
oh, he
missing a
could
beat.
be playing.
So he might even say, well, I'm getting up there, so I want to coach, whatever. But like at the end of the day, do you think it's probably just a personal choice? Like I want to play or I want to coach or I don't want to play anymore. Like, is that what it comes down to? Because I think there is a mindset to me to like I'm guilty of using my age as an excuse. Like, well, I'm not diamond because I'm 37 years old.
Right.
I look like a noob with noob mechanics because I'm 37 years old. But really, I mean, I think that's probably just an excuse.
Yeah, I don't want to speak on him personally,
Sure.
but I do think as I mean, even from my own experiences, as you get older and like how we were just talking, you start to like, okay, I love esports. I need to find a way to extend my duration beyond playing. But I just think he saw an outlet, and honestly, he loves coaching, and I don't think there's another coach that does anything that what Brandon does. It's super motivating to me if I ever decide to go down the coaching route one day as well. Just seeing the amount of work and prep work and everything that he does. But yeah,
As you guys are looking at like going to Vegas, I know that the like everything's kind of up in the air now because of the whole coronavirus thing. And are you extremely disappointed that you're playing in an online format right now compared to playing at LAN?
oh, not at all. Only because we're named the Online Warriors. So I will take another season of online and kind of dominate North America and show them who's boss. And then after we're done kicking their ass, we'll transfer to LAN and we'll do it again there as well. But honestly, to be real, I don't mind anymore. I do think this online season is fine. We're all really excited to get to Vegas. None of us can wait. We all see the house being progressed, and it's going to be amazing. And everyone, all our friends, everything is already in Vegas.
Yeah.
Literally can't wait just to play on LAN and see the studio and everything Ubisoft is hooking everybody up with. Um, but honestly, just excited to play. So I don't care whether it's online or LAN. Like just excited to play Pro League.
You mentioned the whole online Warriors tag. Like I remember going back to the F3 days. It wasn't an online warrior tag, but I remember some people saying best of one warriors, like
Oh yeah.
because F3 was known as throwing like really like strange stuff out, like being really innovative, and like I remember some people saying like, well, that'll work on a best of one, but when you get to a best of three, it doesn't. You know what I mean? Is there any truth to that to where you're at now with Dark Zero?
I can look back and I can think of all the names that we given, like Scrim 3. We were the best Scrim gods in the game, that we wouldn't perform in a match. That was the first one. And we didn't really perform in matches because we were third. And then when we're finishing first, now we're winning matches. Now we're just the online gods. We can perform online. We can perform in a best of one. But now when we go to LAN, we can't perform in a best of three or on LAN. And now that we have recent results, we finished second at Tokoname, and we finished fifth at Invitationals. We're still I don't know what the new thing is now, but I guess we're still somehow an online team. As far as F3, I mean yes we're just playing it smart. Like we did take the best of one uh into mind, especially when we're doing all our game planning. We are going to throw out our weird strats and things like that because it works, and we know that we will get a round out of it. So it's like, why would you not try to do whatever you can to win a best of one? Like lay it all out in the line. I just don't think other teams. I don't know if it's like ego kind of thing, is like they didn't want to cheese their way to win a best of one, if that's what they want to call it, whether we're running shields or blitz or yang or whatever it is. But like, yeah, it's a best of one. We're gonna literally throw everything we have at you, and we're gonna try to win the match. That's just how I see it. Same with like shields nowadays or whatever broken ops come out. It's like I'm not gonna have an ego for it just because like I don't want to run it because it's broken. It's like no, we're whatever is the best op. Like we're gonna bring that. We're trying to win every single match there is.
Yeah. I made a video a long time ago about not resisting the meta. That goes back to the Lion days, like how like I remember just being miserable for a full season because I didn't want to play Lion, Dokkaebi, Blitz back then was a different animal.
Yeah, the
Uh,
liquid meta.
yeah, the gold meta, the gold operators, threw Blackbeard in there, and yeah, I remember making a video talking about either like don't get mad because you lose or play the meta because you're just gonna be miserable if you try to find both.
Yeah,
All right, that's really all I have, man. I appreciate you sitting down and talking to me. Really, good luck this season. Um, you
appreciate
know,
it.
for people watching, hopefully I'm gonna try and get like maybe like 2 of these done a month where we sit down one on one with the players and have some type of kind of candid discussion like this. So let us know in the comments if you enjoyed this type of discussion. Be greatly appreciated. Again, good luck against the Sonics and for the rest of the season. Pass that along to the rest of the team, and
Will do.
yeah, appreciate it, man. And we'll talk to you guys later.
All right, appreciate it, man. Thank you.